In 2K now. In 2001 came the announcement that shocked the corporate world. Enron, the corporate poster child, the company of the future, had gone belly up. What happened? How did such spectacular promise turn into such a spectacular disaster? Was it incompetence? Was it corruption? It was mindset. According to Gladwell, writing in the New Yorker, American corporations had become obsessed with talent. Indeed, the gurus of McKinsey and Company, the premier management consulting firm in the country, were insisting that corporate success today requires the talent mindset. Just as there are naturals in sports, they maintained there are naturals in business. Just as sports team write huge checks to sign outsized talent, so too should corporations spare no expense in recruiting talent, for this is the secret weapon, the key to beating the competition. As Gladwell writes, the talent mindset is the new orthodoxy of American management. It created the blueprint for Iran culture and showed the seeds of its demise. Iran recruited big talent and mostly people with fancy degree, which is not in itself so bad. It paid them big money, which is not that terrible. But by putting complete faith in talent, Iran did a fatal thing. It created a culture that worshipped talent, thereby forcing the employees to look and act extraordinarily talented. Basically, it forced them into the fixed mindset, like, I need to be talented, and anything less than that would be an insult and make me very uncomfortable. That is the point. And we know a lot about that. We know from our studies that people with fixed mindset do not admit and correct their deficiencies. Remember the study where we interviewed students from University of Hong Kong, where everything is in English. Students with the fixed mindset were so worried about being deficient that they refused to take a course that would improve their English. They did not live in a psychological world where they could take this risk. And remember how we put students into fixed mindset by praising their intelligence, such as Iran had done with its star employees. All these books, they nourish the vulnerable ones who seek validation from outside, like me. And some people insist. I don't know. The cycle never ends. Some say this seeking validation, seeking help cycle. You can never become independent until you act independent. Like suddenly you act independent and people starts to perceive you as independent. But that change hardly happens. They did not live in a psychological world where, and remember how we put students into a fixed mindset by praising them. Later, after some had some hard problems. We asked the student to write a letter to someone in another school describing their experience in our study. When we read their letters, we were shocked. Almost 40% of them had lied about their scores, always in upward direction, and fixed mindset had made a flaw intolerable. Gladwell includes that people that when people live in an environment that esteems them for their innate talent, they have grave difficulty when their image is threatened. They will not take the remedial course. They will not stand up to investors and the public and admit that they were wrong. They would sooner lie. Obviously, a company that cannot self-correct cannot thrive. If Iran has done in if Iran if an Enron was done in by its fixed mindset, does it follow that companies that thrive have a growth mindset? Let's see. Organizations that grows organizations that grows